famous celebrities who passed away in 1821. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Elizabeth Ann Seton. She was born in August 1774 and she died in January 1821. Her age was 46 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was tuberculosis. She was the first native-born citizen of the United States to be canonized by the Roman Catholic Church. She founded the first Catholic girls' school in the nation. Wade Still Avery. He was born in May 1741 and he died in March 1821. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was an American lawyer and officer in North Carolina militia during the American Revolution. He is noted for fighting a duel with future United States President Andrew Jackson in 1788. Elias Budo. He was born in May 1740 and he died in October 1821. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a founding father of the United States, a lawyer, statesman, and early abolitionist and women's rights activist. Lucy Terry. She was born in 1733 and she died in 1821. Her age was 88 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She is considered the first known African-American poet, with her poem, Bar's Fight, being the earliest known work by an African-American in the United States. She was also an advocate for civil rights. John Keats. He was born in October 1795 and he died in February 1821. His age was 35 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was tuberculosis. He was a major figure in the second generation of Romantic poets, whose works remain popular to this day. Hester Thrale. She was born in January 1741 and she died in May 1821. Her age was 80 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She was a British diarist, author, and prominent friend of Samuel Johnson. She provided an intimate view of 18th century London literary life. Charles Alfred Stothard. He was born in July 1786 and he died in May 1821. His age was 34 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was accident. He was known for his detailed drawings and studies of ancient monuments. His tragic death came when he fell while working in Beer Ferris. Richard Causeway. He was born in November 1742 and he died in July 1821. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a leading British portrait painter in the late 18th century England. Known for his small, delicate miniatures, he painted many of the aristocracy and royalty. Caroline of Brunswick. She was born in May 1768 and she died in August 1821. Her age was 53 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She was the estranged wife of King George IV of the United Kingdom. Her tumultuous marriage and publicized trial for adultery captured widespread attention. She was a British Queen Consort. Elizabeth Inchbald. She was born in October 1753 and she died in August 1821. Her age was 67 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She was an English novelist, actress, dramatist, and translator, known for her novel, A Simple Story, and her work in theatre, where she also acted briefly. John William Polidori. He was born in September 1795 and he died in August 1821. His age was 25 at the time of his death, and he took his own life. He was a British writer and physician, known for his novella The Vampire, which is considered as one of the first works of vampire fiction. He was also Lord Byron's doctor. John Rennie the Elder. He was born in June 1761 and he died in October 1821. His age was 60 at the time of his death, and he died after a short illness. He was one of the leading civil engineers of his time, known for designing important infrastructure projects such as the original Waterloo and London bridges. Claudius Rich. He was born in March 1787 and he died in October 1821. His age was 34 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cholera. He was a British diplomat and archaeologist, known for his work in excavating the ancient city of Babylon. He contributed significantly to Middle Eastern archaeology. James Burney. He was born in June 1750 and he died in November 1821. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was an English naval officer who took part in James Cook's voyages. He later wrote extensive histories of exploration. John Henniker Major. He was born in April 1752 and he died in December 1821. His age was 69 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a British politician and writer, known for his service as Member Parliament and his literary works. He held various governmental positions. Henry Noble Shipton. He was born in June 1797 and he died in December 1821. His age was 24 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was yellow fever. He was a British Army officer who served in the Royal Marines and the Army. He is notable as being the sole Royal Marine to have fought at the Battle of Waterloo. Phoebe Hassel. She was born in March 1713 and she died in December 1821. Her age was 108 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She became famous for disguising herself as a man to serve in British Army alongside her lover. Guy Toussaint Julien Guerre. He was born in 1760 and he died in 1821. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a French Roman Catholic priest who founded a number of social and educational institutions, especially while in exile in England. Louis Marcelin de Fontana. He was born in March 1757 and he died in March 1821. His age was 64 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a French writer and politician, contributing significantly to the literary and political landscape of post-revolutionary France. Napoleon I of France, also known as Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a French military leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and became Emperor of the France. He is known for his legal reforms, including the Napoleonic Code, and his role in shaping modern Europe. François-Henri de Fontenay de Coigny. He was born in March 1737 and he died in May 1821. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a French military officer who played a significant role in various campaigns during the Napoleonic Wars, demonstrating leadership and strategic acumen. César Guillaume de la Joserne. He was born in July 1738 and he died in June 1821. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a French clergyman and statesman, and he was also an important figure of the Bourbon Restoration. John Balentine. He was born in 1774 and he died in 1821. His age was 47 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Scottish publisher and editor who played a key role in publishing many of Sir Walter Scott's works. Marie Denise V. She was born in 1774 and she died in August 1821. Her age was 47 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She was a French painter known for her portraits, particularly of women, during the early 19th century. She was recognized for her skill in capturing the essence of her subjects. John Ross Key. He was born in September 1754 and he died in October 1821. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was an American lawyer and judge who participated in various military actions during the Revolutionary War. JeanNicolas Corvis. He was born in February 1755 and he died in September 1821. His age was 66 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was apoplexy. He was a pioneering French physician credited with significant advancements in cardiology. He served as personal physician to Napoleon Bonaparte and made lasting contributions to medicines. Jean Rapp. He was born in April 1771 and he died in November 1821. His age was 50 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a French general during the Napoleonic Wars, known for his bravery and leadership in several key battles. He was a close aide to Napoleon and played a significant role in military strategies. Franz Karl Acad. He was born in April 1753 and he died in April 1821. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a German chemist who made significant contributions to the sugar beet industry, helping to develop techniques that transformed sugar production in Europe. Johann Georg Heinrich Fader. He was born in May 1740 and he died in May 1821. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a German philosopher. His writings were widely read at the time due to their clear and tasteful mode of presentation. He decisively countered Immanuel Kant's idealism. Johann Dominicus Felo. He was born in October 1748 and he died in September 1821. His age was 72 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a German painter and art theorist, known for his extensive writings on art history and theory. He contributed significantly to the understanding of art in his time. Heinrich Coe. He was born in September 1797 and he died in September 1821. His age was 33 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was liver infection. He was a German naturalist known for his studies in botany and zoology. His explorations and documentation of various species advanced the field of natural history. Dorothia Acran. She was born in February 1752 and she died in October 1821. Her age was 69 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. She was a German actress and the eldest daughter of Conrad Aaman. Ulrich Wilhelm de Roepstorff. He was born in July 1729 and he died in April 1821. His age was 91 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Danish colonial administrator and landowner who served as Governor General of the Danish West Indies. Johann Balthazar Winterfeld. He was born in October 1732 and he died in July 1821. His age was 88 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Danish naval officer and philanthropist. Jan Zetlitz. He was born in January 1761 and he died in January 1821. His age was 59 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Norwegian priest and poet, known for his romantic poetry and contributions to Norwegian literature during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. His works are celebrated for their lyrical quality. Gabriel Kand. He was born in March 1760 and he died in March 1821. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Norwegian businessman and ship owner, and one of the wealthiest and most distinguished figures in Norway. Abraham Peel. He was born in October 1756 and he died in May 1821. His age was 64 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Norwegian clergyman, astronomer, and architect, known for his contributions to architecture in Norway, including various significant buildings. His designs reflected the styles of his time. Jonas Rein. He was born in January 1760 and he died in November 1821. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. He was a Norwegian priest, poet, and politician, known for his advocacy for social and political reform in Norway during the early 19th century. He played a significant role in shaping modern Norwegian politics. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.